Hello. So I just wanted to run through a couple problems on tonight's homework for you. Tonight's homework is S10, pages S10 and S11 of Module 5, numbers 1 through 5. So right here you'll see a short lesson summary of the lesson that we did today, and then the problem set starts right here. So this is numbers 1 and 2 of your math homework. So we're talking about functions, and functions are a correspondence between a set whose elements are called inputs and another set whose elements are called outputs, such that each input corresponds to one and only one output. So when you look at a table like this top row here are my inputs. I'm going to write that right here. And this bottom row here are my outputs. So we're looking at our inputs and we're looking at our outputs, and this question asks us to identify and explain. The table below represents the number of minutes Francisco spends at the gym each day for a week. Does the data shown below represent values of a function? Explain. So when we look here, we know that days, each day he spends at the gym is represented by X, which is our input, so he inputs each day. Our output of 35 minutes, time in minutes, Y, 35. So on day 1, he spends 35 minutes. On day 2, he spends 45 minutes. So all we're looking at is for each day, it needs to be unique. Our inputs need to be unique. And if you look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for number 1, the answer is yes. The table can represent a function because each input has a unique output. So for example, on day 1, Francisco spends 35 minutes at the gym. So I'm not going to write the full sentence. Mr. Lewis does want us writing complete sentences, but for sake of saving time, I'm not going to do a full sentence. I'm just going to write yes, comma, it is a function. So I did give you one of the complete sentences. Anyways, moving on to number 2. So number 2, same thing. We're looking at our inputs here and our outputs here. And they were even nice enough to put input, output. So remember, our inputs need to be unique. Okay, so let's see. Can the table shown below represent values of a function? Explain. Well, let's see here. I'm going to go with no. If you look here, you have an input of 9, output of 11, and then you have an input of 9, output of 28. So that's not unique. And then same thing with the 8s here. You can't input 8 and get 15. Input 8 again and then get 24. That's not a function. So, again, for sake of saving time, I'm going to put no. This is not a function. So we're already through 2 of our 5 homework problems. Woohoo! Again, your sentence should look something like, no, this is not a function because the input of 9 has 2 different outputs, or something like that. We're really looking for you to explain a bit how you got that. So I'm going to leave numbers 3 and 4 for you to do on your own, but number 5, the last one for homework, I'm actually going to do that one real quick because you guys know that I love equations, so I'm going to walk you through it. So let's take a look. Number 5, a function can be described by the rule y equals x squared plus 4. Determine the corresponding output for each given input. So on a question like this, it's asking us our input of x, when we plug it in here, what is our output? Y. So for these, I'm going to grab a sheet of paper, and I'm going to do the first couple for you. So we know that the first step is always to rewrite our equation. Okay, y equals x squared plus 4. Again, I know that because it's right here laid out for me. So I'm going to do an input. I'm going to plug in negative 3 for x. And I'm going to solve. And when I solve, I'm going to find out my first value of y. So to do this, negative 3 squared is really negative 3 times negative 3. We know that a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9 plus 4 equals 13. 9 plus 4 equals 13. Again, I got that 9 because negative 3 squared is 9. So my first output is going to be 13. Let's scoot over a bit and do another one for you. Y equals x squared plus 4. Again, negative 2 is my x, so y equals negative 2 squared plus 4. Please, 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 please always rewrite your equation. It'll just help you so much. Keep it all in line. Kind of, keep yourself straight and organized. I know it helps me tremendously. So negative 2 squared is really negative 2 times negative 2, which is a 4, plus my 4 equals 8. So again, 8. Let's see, I'm going to fold this so that I can keep everything in view for you. I'm going to do a couple more. Y equals x squared. Again, rewriting that equation. I'm going to plug in negative 1 for my x right here. Y equals negative 1 squared plus 4. Negative 1 squared is really negative 1 times negative 1. A negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1 plus 4, which equals 5. Okay, last one, and then I'm going to ask you to do the last 4 on your own. This is great practice for our equation solving. So 0 squared is 0. This one's pretty easy because 0 times anything is 0. So 0 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is a 4 right there. Okay, so you're on your own for the last 4. Please show some effort, write complete sentences, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.